Good morning students. In the previous video, we discussed about the kinds of contracts. Uh, Once that our kinds of contracts are over, the next topic for us in Indian Contract Act is offer and acceptance. Today we will discuss about offer because without offer, no one can make an agreement, and without offer, it's useless to discuss about business law. So just move forward with the offer. Yes, according to section 2 subsection A of Indian Contract Act 1872, offer is defined as when one person signifies to another his willingness to do or to obtain from doing anything with a view to obtain the assent of other is called as offer. This is the definition. Let us make us in a simple manner. Offer is nothing but a promise or set of promises made by the offerer, and offerer would like to get assent means willingness from the other person or other party so that they can make an agreement. Okay. So when we are observe very clearly about this offer is one side of a coin. If that side is not there, it doesn't have any validity to make an agreement which ultimately concluded with a contract. So offer is a promise or set of promises proposed by the offerer, and definitely the offerer should get the assent or willingness of the acceptor. So we'll just check once to fulfill the statement of which is given under section 2 subsection A of Indian Contract Act 1872. We'll just check once the essentials of offer which are enforceable by law. Okay, just put your eye on this. I have written all the essential elements of offer on the board. Just I'll tell about one of another each point that you can understand about an offer. First essential element of an offer is intention to create legal relationship. What I explained in the previous two videos, I'll repeat the one case law so that you understand in a better manner. So, intention to create legal relationship. Legal relationship means when parties come together to frame an agreement, it doesn't make a sense that it is a contract. All contracts are agreements. Everyone will agree, but all agreements are not contracts. So, to stressing this point, we should focus on how the relationship between the parties will make a contract and which give utmost priority to the offerer while making an offer. Okay, so we will take a case law for this. Already explained in the previous videos. The people who are viewing my video right now, they can also understand by my explanation. Okay, this is a case law between two people, wife and husband, Mr. Balfour and Mrs. Balfour, and this case law is registered in 1919. Mr. Balfour and Mrs. Balfour belongs to Ceylon, which is now in Sri Lanka. On the duty of Mr. Balfour, he got transferred to England and he moved along with his wife to England. After reaching over there, Mrs. Balfour, unable to be in England because of health conditions, because she is unable to be with the environment in England, she would like to move back to Ceylon. And in discussion, Mrs. Balfour stated that she wants for, because anyway people need maintenance. Mrs. Balfour asked for how can she survive in Ceylon. Then Mr. Balfour stated that he will provide 30 pounds each month. She agreed for it and she move back to Ceylon. On promise of words, Mr. Balfour used to send 30 pounds each month to Mrs. Balfour. He sent it for 6 months and after that he stopped sending money to Mrs. Balfour. Then she filed a case on Mr. Balfour stating that whatever proposal made by Mr. Balfour and whatever assent she expected from Mrs. Balfour, it is sorted. So, whatever proposal made by Mr. Balfour is accepted by Mrs. Balfour for 30 pounds, but Mr. Balfour is not sending the money. So, the judgment, the Court of Law has given, stated that Mr. Balfour no need to pay any sort of money to Mrs. Balfour. Do you know the reason why? The reason is that the agreement or any discussion or any proposal and acceptance between wife and husband is a mutual understanding. It's not legal understanding or legal contract. It is just a mutual agreement between wife and husband. So, any agreement or any understanding or anything between wife and husband or siblings or friends never be compelled to file a suit against other one. So, here Court of Law has given a perfect judgment stating that Mr. Balfour no need to pay any money to Mrs. Balfour. Yes, court need an evidence. Do court be in between these two, wife and husband, that they discussed about the maintenance and survival of the wife? No, it's just an agreement. All agreements are not contracts. That's what I am telling you. Every contract is an agreement, but every agreement is not a contract. So, stressing on this, first essential element is that both the parties should have an intention to create legal relationship. To extend this, I'll give you one more example. When we go to any shop for purchase, definitely the relationship between the shopkeeper and the consumer is a legal relationship. Shopkeeper will offer us, we will accept what is we need, and definitely it make a legal relationship. If it is not satisfied, then it never be concluded with a word of contract. So, legal relationship is a first essential element when we discuss about offer. Okay, ma? Next we move to another essential element of offer, that is offer must be communicated. Offer must be communicated. Now I am recording this video to my students. But let me tell you one thing, I am communicating with my words. I am communicating with my words. If I stand before you in front of a camera just like this, it never be called as an offer. I am offering you to listen to my lectures. This is called communication. Yes, every statement, every word, every practice, every act must be communicated, then only it will be enforced by the law. So, remember one thing, the second essential element, an offer has to remember that offer must be communicated either orally or written. But it is must to make it as a valid one. So, to explain this communication point, I would like to tell a case law. Please listen carefully. This case law is about two people, Lalman Shukla versus Gauri Dutt in the year 1913. So, focus on the case law once. Gauri Dutt is a master and Lalman Shukla works under Mr. Gauri Dutt. So, Lalman Shukla is a servant. So, on one day, Mr. Gauri Dutt's daughter escaped from home, went somewhere, and Gauri Dutt ordered Lalman Shukla to find his daughter. So, because a servant has to accept the words of the master, Shukla went to find the girl. When Shukla left the house, when he is on the way to search for the girl, in between, Gauri Dutt announced a reward of 500 pounds to public that those who found the girl or his daughter, he is going to give a reward of 500 pounds. Done. And because on the words of master, Lalman Shukla bring the daughter back and given it to his master. Done. After a few days of this, Lalman Shukla has noticed and gotten information that Mr. Gauri Dutt announced a reward about daughter's return back. So then he went back to his master and asked for the reward of 500 pounds. And Gauri Dutt stated that there is no reward, there is no award for a servant, because when he ordered the servant to search for his daughter, he did not mention anything about the reward. Then why should I pay? Then Lalman Shukla went to court and filed a suit against Mr. Gauri Dutt. And Court of Law has given a judgment in favor of Gauri Dutt. Do you know the reason why? The reason is that when a proposal is made, immediately the acceptor has to ask for some reward. But is it happen here? No. So, and here you remember one thing, Gauri Dutt did not communicate about any reward to Mr. Shukla. So that's the reason judgment came in favor of Gauri Dutt but not to Lalman Shukla. The reason is communication is not there about the reward. Only a statement is stated that go and find my daughter. Communicate it. If that is lapsing or if it is not there, he accepted it but he did not communicate it. So always remember, an offer must be communicated to the acceptor, and either it may be on a way of oral or written, it should be there. Okay, ma? Yes, I hope you understood about the case law. It is very, very essential. Now move to the other one. Offer must be certain and definite. When you are making a plan or proposal or a promise, an offerer should have a intention that it should be prescribed, definite and certain. It should not create any sort of uncertainty. Offer must be certain and definite. When you confuse while proposing, when you confuse while preparing any plan, it doesn't make any sense that others should understand in the same manner. Okay, parties must have a clarity when they are being in a contract. So, offer must be certain, offer must be specific. To that, a small example, it's in our routine life, no need. When you are purchasing fruits from the fruit seller will be very clear in his shop or in his stores that he'll keep each and every fruit in a separate structure. Apples on one side, pomegranate on another side, grapes are one corner. Have you observed? Will he merge all these fruits so that the customer will pick what they need? No. The proposal from the side of fruit seller is that yes, certain. One corner of apples, one corner of pomegranates, and other side is grapes, whatnot. Okay, so it should be, a proposal should be definite and certain. It should not be vague. It should not be uncertain. Simply you cannot say that, yeah, this may be my view, this is my proposal, so it's going to perform. It's not. A proposal must be in a sense that it should be certain, definite and It should be performable. If that is lacking, there is no sense of making an agreement. So, a proposal should be certain and deficit, but not a vague one. Okay? Yes. Now, the last and final essential element of offer is that offer must obtain assent of others. Assent is nothing but acceptance of the acceptor. It's compulsory because an agreement consists of two parties. One is the offerer and other one is the acceptor. If an offerer has given an offer and if there is no one to accept it, what it is called as? Is it have any legality? Is it have any enforceability? Is it forbidden by law? Is it accepted by law? No. So, always we should remember that offer must obtain assent of others. Other parties should accept what is stated by the offerer. Clear? And when an offerer is making an offer, he should have a right to put conditions. That's what. It should be certain and definite means yes, all the frames, all the conditions, all the rules should be framed. If everything is definite, then it should go for the approval of the acceptor. Yes, offerer has every right to put conditions which must be accepted by the acceptor. If acceptor not accepted for this, it will become a useless offer. So, always an offerer has to plan, an offerer has to prepare an agreement which should possess an assent from the acceptor. Okay, for that I will give you a case law so that you can understand in a better manner. Here we will take names of two parties, party A, party B. A is the owner of the house, okay, and he want to rent it to B. B is ready to accept, okay, and while giving rent of lease to B, A stated that the lease of the house per month is 10,000 rupees. Clear? And B, while accepting this offer, B is not in a position to pay 10,000 rupees as rent to A. Then B stated that sorry, I could not pay 10,000. Means when an offer is made, if the acceptor is not in a position to accept, useless of that offer will become unlawful. So that's why while making an offer, offerer should be very clear that he should get assent from offeree or acceptor. Yeah, before this we discussed about offer, what is the definition of offer and what are the essentials of offer. Now we will discuss about acceptance. Okay, acceptance is nothing but giving our assent. For any proposal is made, definitely one has to respond for it. So response for a proposal is called as an offer. So just we will go with the definition given under Indian Contract Act 1872. So just put your focus on this. According to section 2, subsection B of Indian Contract Act 1872, when the person to whom the proposal is made signifies his assent, the proposal is said to be accepted. So, when a proposal is made by the proposer or promiser or by the offerer, it should be accepted or it should be stated in a written manner, and the one who responded for it is called as an offerer and the response is called as an acceptance. So, without the role of acceptor, an agreement could not be framed. When an agreement is not there, then no one can frame a contract. So, in legal terminology, acceptance plays a very vital role and it will give priority for the contract. So, I am repeating the definition one more time, which is stated in section 2 subsection B of Indian Contract Act 1872. When the proposal to whom a proposal is made signifies the assent, the proposal is said to be accepted. Okay. Now, based on this, we will just observe what are the essentials of acceptance. Okay. When the role of acceptance will come? When there is a proposal. Who will make the proposal? The proposer or the offerer. So, when a proposal is in front of acceptor, acceptor has to use a certain essentials so that his or her acceptance will become a legal acceptance. So, just we'll check once the essentials of acceptance. Number 1, it must be given by the offeree. It in the sense acceptance must be given by the offeree only. Offer is nothing but acceptor. Acceptance must be given by the acceptor so that an offer can be completed. So, to explain this, as earlier we discussed about offer, where we discussed a case law, that is between Lalman Shukla versus Gauri Dutt in the year 1913. I repeat the case law one more time so that you can have a idea on the case law. Here, Gauri Dutt is a master to Mr. Lalman Shukla, because Lalman Shukla works under Gauri Dutt. Because being a servant, he has to obey all the statements and things given by Mr. Gauri Dutt. One fine day, Gauri Dutt's daughter was missing, and Gauri Dutt has stated to Mr. Lalman Shukla that go and find the daughter. So, Shukla went on searching for the girl, and he searched the girl and returned back along with the daughter of Mr. Gauri Dutt. Done. In the meanwhile, what happened? When Lalman Shukla went on search of the daughter of Mr. Gauri Dutt, on a curiosity, Gauri Dutt announced a reward of 500 pounds to others who will find the daughter of him. This was not known to Lalman Shukla. So, he searched the goal and he came back with the daughter of master, everything over. After few days, Lalman Shukla got an information that Gauri Dutt announced a reward. But unfortunately, what happened? Lalman Shukla could not get the reward back. He filed a suit on Mr. Gauri Dutt, and Lalman Shukla got a negative judgment. May I tell you why the reason? The reason is that here, when an offer is made by Mr. Gauri Dutt, at that time Shukla was not there. So, Shukla not accepted the proposal. No, he was not there. Just offer is made and acceptance is not there. So, how could he expect a judgment in favor of him? So, that is why this is a very renowned case where everyone has put a stress on this. When an offer is made, it must be given by the offeree's acceptance. Acceptance should be stated, then only offer will be fulfilled. That is the first essential element. Now, we move to the second essential element, is that an offer, an acceptance must be absolute and unconditional. An acceptance must be optional, absolute and unconditional. When an offerer offered anything to you, or anything stated to acceptor, acceptor doesn't have any right to put conditions. As it is, they have to accept what is stated by the offerer. If they don't want to accept it, they can say sorry. It's called refusal. So, But when an offer is made and if you would like to accept it without any conditions, you have to accept the offer. It's compulsory that you should remember this statement very clearly. Offerer has a right to put conditions but not the acceptor. Acceptor has to accept the proposal without stating anything or without putting any conditions. So then only it will become a agreement. So let me give a small example for it. A and B are there. A want to sell car to B. While selling the car, A stated that the price or consideration of the car is 10,000 rupees. And B stated to A that he is ready to buy the car, accepted the offer, but he could not pay 10,000 rupees as consideration to buy the car. So what it indicates? Accepting the offer doesn't mean that by way of words. So whatever condition that is stated by offerer, that should be stated, accepted by offerer absolutely and unconditionally. So an acceptance must be definite and unconditional. Move to the another essential of acceptance is that it must be in prescribed manner. An acceptance must be in the prescribed manner that what is stated by the offerer. He could not say in one time in one angle and in another time another way. So, acceptor has to accept the proposal in what manner it is designed, in what manner it is proposed, in the precise manner that is stated by the offerer. Shuffling and changing the words and avoiding the main point, it's not. A condition should be followed and whatever is stated by the offerer, that should be accepted in the similar manner where we are using the word in a prescribed manner. Okay. Now move to the another essential element of acceptance is that it may be expressed or implied. As we have seen in the kinds of contracts where we have observed very clearly that an offer may be an express offer or implied offer. Similarly, an acceptance must be or may be express or implied. No need to give your acceptance in a written manner always. You can express your acceptance either express or implied. Express is nothing but oral or written. Implied means following the rules and regulations that are in offer is considered as implied acceptance. Yeah, take the example. That example is that when we go to a theater, definitely we'll purchase a ticket to have a seat and to watch a movie. Is it not? Do anyone are instructing us there? Anyone are offering please buy the ticket so that you can have a vision on the movie? No. No one will tell you. Simply you'll go, you'll buy a ticket and then you'll watch a movie. That indicates that you accepted the things. Yes, you have to buy a ticket. So no one will tell you. That kind of acceptance is called as implied acceptance. Then what is called as expressed acceptance? By using the word, by writing a letter, by stating a thing. So you are expressing your views to the offer that you are accepting it. It is called express offer. Implied offer. Yes, no need to mention anything. You are following, you are moving along with the conditions that are stated by offerer. It's called implied acceptance. Okay, ma? And the last and final essential element of acceptance is that it must follow the offer. Okay, so any acceptance is given by the acceptor, it must follow the offer. Simply violating the rules in the offer, changing the rules in the offer, it never be considered as an acceptance. An acceptor has to obey, an acceptor has to follow, an acceptor has to give a particular assent that yes, whatever is given in the offer, that is followed by the acceptor. Okay. Now, we will just see once again what are the essentials of acceptance. The first essential acceptance is that it must be given by the offeree, means acceptor has to give his assent. Second one, it must be absolute and unconditional, because there is no right to acceptor to put conditions while performing a contract. Next one is that it must be prescribed in manner. Whatever is stated by the offerer, he has to give his acceptance in the similar manner. Next one is it must be communicated. Mere silence is never considered as an acceptance. Mere silence never be concluded that accepted. If you are quiet, it never be considered that you accepted my proposal. So, the proposal should be accepted with communication. Next one, an acceptance must be either expressed or implied. And the last and final one is that it must follow the offer. Then only it will become a lawful acceptance. Okay students, today we discussed about what is called as an offer, what is called as an acceptance, what are the essentials of offer and essentials of acceptance. I hope you understood my class, and in next class we will discuss about another things. Thank you.